Good day.
You are live on 3 and SABC 3. You are joining us. We are speaking to two guests from the ANC Youth League about the legacy of Madiba and what he's meant and the leadership lessons that we can take forward. Just one last question from my side. What are some of your impressions on a personal level ever since Tata passed away?
Well, look, it has been a very difficult period for the ANC, Youth League.
But for you personally?
The people of South Africa and the world, but more personally, I met Nelson Mandela in 1996. I've met him quite a few times now when he was not well. It's been very emotional. I think the worst of me yesterday, it was yesterday when I went to view the body lying in state. I didn't know how to react. I think it was quite an emotional era, knowing that that generation of 1944 has dissipated. As you know, that Mandela is almost the last person who would have been the leading figure in the generation of 1944, because the role they played in shaping and reshaping the struggle of the African National Congress. You can never speak about the democratic South Africa without referring to what that generation of Nelson Mandela was able to do. Many of them are no more, and it was an emotional period indeed to me as a person.
I think for me personally, I met him, I'm one of the advantaged ones. I met him in 1990, soon after he came out of jail. And we had, over the years, had experience, because I have a tendency of growing young. So when I was at varsity and I was at Vets, and I was already old, but he always thought I was 14 at worst. So he said to me, "Why are you not at school?" And I said, "No, they're on strike." And he thought I was literally at school and not at varsity. So then he organized at Shell House, because we always get together at the lift, and the secretary would let me pass through. And they moved me to the then Rand Afrikaans University. It was then Rand Afrikaans University, and my Afrikaans was 0. And I graduated. When I've graduated, I went to him and I said, "Madiba, I finished school now." He says, "What have you done?" I said, "I've got my junior degrees, I've got my honors degrees." He says, "Until you've got a PhD, you're not done." So then I had to do my MBA for the sake of him. For me, when I know that he has to leave us, but for me, the fact that I have the education that I had the opportunities to be educated, is mainly to his contribution to making sure that I'm at school, to making sure that I value education as much as it. So it's quite personal. And the question that you raised earlier of saying, what is that we want to impart? How do we get the next Nelson Mandelas? For us, it links to the issue of saying, if we say economic freedom, it doesn't mean entrepreneurship. It means you must be educated or you must be learned. And you must do something. And this thing of bunking school at grade 12 and not wanting to pursue further education is not in line with...
Short-sighted.
Yes, it's not going to help us in any way. Because there are many people who sacrificed their lives, their families, for us to be where we are today. There are many people who do not have the opportunities to be educated that we could have been. And for young kids to just say they cannot go to school, it cannot be accepted.
Absolutely.
And as families, as adults, we have to step back, and as communities, to make sure that we restore that value of education, because when education brings a lot of things to a person, it brings respect.
Okay.
Awesome. Thank you very much.
The message of education coming in very, very strongly. Thank you very much, Sabula Mkawan. That is, I suppose that's the key message that we can take out of Madiba's life, the one of education. In fact, in his own life, just as shortly after he got involved in politics, he went back to school to study law, and with a lot of assistance from his wife at the time. Now, it's been said that if you've met Madiba, you'll never forget the moment. And you, our dear viewers, if you have special moments of Madiba, why don't you share them with us on our social network pages? But let me also introduce you to two young dancers that met Madiba and had this to share.
Glenda Jones, I mean, what an amazing experience must that have been for you, founding Africa Ablaze as a dance company and wanting to inspire young people, and then meeting Madiba. What was that like for you?
It was probably and always will be the most memorable experience of our lives, because it was firstly a shock that we were selected to honour him at the launch to Robben Island. It was an amazing, amazing selection for us, and we were totally excited, but never ever prepared for meeting somebody so unbelievably awesome. And I think for me what was the most significant feature about him was that the little girls were lined up to perform, and they were very excited. The security guards rushed into the room where he was going to come through, and they pushed the little children out of the way in their earnest attempt to keep the corridor clean. And I got really upset, and I was about to go to them, and then he stood there. And he was the kindest person on earth. And he took every little girl's hand, and he looked into every little girl's eyes. And it was an amazing, amazing aura in the room, because there was a kind of a peace and a silence. And there was so much humility around him that it actually washed into the people in the room. And then they just had this awesome quietness. And like, we knew we were in the presence of greatness.
we all know, and throughout his many messages talking about the youth of South Africa, that Nelson Mandela loved children. He loved to see them flourish in all forms, in art and in music and in education. So tell us about the piece that you've prepared today.
This little piece is called The Release. And these are very, very young dancers. They've just about walked into our company. And so what they will be doing is they will just be expressing their understanding of a man, one human being, that has influenced their lives forever. They don't understand exactly what he's done. What they do know is they can breathe freely. Wow. They can walk on beaches, and they can go and live anywhere their heart wants.
If you want to share your memory with us, SMS SABC to 40301. SMS costs 20 Rand. Free SMSs do not apply. Network and administration fees do apply. So let's now take a short break, and when we come back, we take a look at protest politics. Stay with us.